Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to go over 3 more subscribers' teams. And up today is Ian Connor 33, Emilio, and Kade. These 3 guys all have different levels of their team. Some of these guys are free to play. I'm assuming some of them might not be free to play. Either way, we're going to give them in-depth reviews to help their team moving forward, short-term and long-term. Let's get into it. Just like we always do, we're going to first go over their team with an overview, and then we'll put the team side by side. I'll show you what their original team was and what my team advice is. The first guy up is going to be Ian Connor, 33. Let's go over his team. On the left wing, he has Teemu Selanne, 92 overall silver icon. First line center, he has silver icon Mario Lemieux. On the right wing, he has style icons Austin Matthews, which was the 94 from doing the objectives. His first defensive pair is Team of the Week 93 overall John Carlson with silver icon Scott Niedermayer. Second line is going to be Mark Stone, Fantasy Hockey 94, 94 Fantasy Hockey Sean Couturier. Then on the right wing is Yvon Cornwallier, silver icon. For his second defensive pair, he has Erik Karlsson style icon, Zach Werenski's Winter National, which was one of the Christmas gift options. Third line is going to be Fantasy Hockey Brock Besser, 92 overall. Then silver icon Joe Sakic, 94 flashback Mikko Rantanen, 89 overall Team of the Week Dougie Hamilton, with 86 overall Team of the Week Samuel Girard rounds out the defense. Looking on the fourth line, he has Kasperi Kapanen, who I said is an absolute stud and amazing card. We'll go over him a little bit more whenever we go over the team advice about how good of a card this is when you have the synergies activated as well as a few team synergies. Then he has bronze Eddie Olczyk on the fourth line for some synergy plug here for Gladiator and Spark. Then to round out the fourth line, he has Nikolai Ehlers, Team of the Week 90 overall. Mike Smith and Zachary Papoussakis is going to be his goaltenders with Brian Fiddler as his coach. What this does for his team is he has Gladiator, Howitzer, Speedster, Light the Lamp, Wingman, Workhorse activated. Then for team synergies, he has Balance, Distributor, and Spark. Let's see if we can maybe add Swarm. I'm not sure with all these untradables if it's really doable without completely moving the team around, but maybe we can solidify some spots on his roster. Maybe add an extra player synergy. Let's see what we're going to do. His original team is going to be on the right. My team advice is going to be on the left. Looking at the first line, it's going to stay the exact same. Selanne, Lemieux, Matthews, Carlson, and Niedermayer. I don't really think there's anything to change. There's not really much you can do with this line. You have 2 of the best cards in the game, and then Selanne plays way above his 92 overall, especially with synergies activated. He's playing a 94.1, but he just has amazing speed and acceleration when you just only have Distributor and Spark. When you look at this, he gets up to 98 acceleration, 97 speed. You're not going to really match that, plus that shot at 93 plus across the board. And he has great deking, amazing hands, good defensive awareness and stick checking. Where he really hurts is in his defensive category, but he does have strength, which actually helps his offense in holding onto the puck some. The body checking at 88. It's just one of those things. There's not really much you can do to improve this. Even if you moved Mark Stone up, which obviously I didn't realize he had the 94 going on right here. So the Mark Stone gets up to 94. But even if you moved him up, I still think Selanne is better than this Mark Stone is at 2 overall higher. Going to the second line, same exact thing. Stone, Couturier, Cornwallier, Karlsson, Werenski. There's really nothing much more you can do with this. The Karlsson might need replaced long term, but for right now, he is a great option. On the third lines, where we have our first couple changes as well as the third defensive pair, we're going to have Brock Besser's 92. That's what he already had. Joe Sakic, silver icon. Then we're going to bring in Alexis Lafreniere. And really, we're bringing in this card to activate Magician as well as to keep the Workhorse activated. Looking at him and comparing him to the Mikko Rantanen, even though you're losing Spark, you're looking at a guy that has 96 acceleration, 99 agility, 89 balance, 88 endurance with 92 speed. He gets a +3 speed over Rantanen. He gets +3 acceleration over Rantanen. His shot's better than Rantanen across the board. So offensively, we're giving the nod to Lafreniere. And they actually have the same adjusted overall at 92.45. It's just a matter of where their adjusted overall points are at. Just think that Lafreniere is a more of a offensive guy that can do it more by himself than Rantanen is, although Rantanen does have size on him. For the checking, it's actually pretty much the exact same. The body checking is almost the exact same. Rantanen is a little bit stronger. Overall, I think they're about the same card, but the ability to allow you to activate Magician and still being able to keep Spark, I do think this Lafreniere is a little bit better than Rantanen is. I just think you're going to get more of a dynamic offense, especially with Brock Besser and Joe Sakic. You get another guy that can dangle with them, that can skate with them, that can just do other nasty things other than just the Mikko Rantanen. If you're absolutely sold on the Mikko Rantanen, then we'll have to talk about how to switch some other stuff up rather than trying to get this Alexis Lafreniere. But I think there's other ways we could get Magician activated. I think this was the best way, in my opinion, to go about it. Then on the defense here, we have a double swap. We have Rasmus Andersson, that is the style icon, 86 overall. It allows you to get 2 Spark, 2 Workhorse. Now, he's not necessarily the best defenseman, and I will openly admit that the Dougie Hamilton is a better defenseman than this Andersson is. However, that 2 Spark allows you to open up some other things. It allows you to also activate Magician, as mentioned, and I don't think you're going to see that big of a difference. The size is huge at 6-inch difference, but honestly, when you're looking at the defense, the speed, I don't think you're going to see too much of a difference. If you want to keep the Dougie Hamilton, once again, we'll have to talk about some other methods. I think this was the best way to improve your offense some, as well as we switched this Quinn Hughes, which I believe you have an untradeable version of him, for the Samuel Girard. To be able to keep the wingman here, we have to keep the Quinn Hughes in here. Comparing the Girard and the Quinn, you can see that the Quinn is just an overall better card. He gets a higher adjusted overall by over 1 overall, better hands, better skater. The shot necessarily isn't that better than Girard's, but the rest of the card definitely is. Defensive end, he's better. And this Hughes skates so well, you can get away with that Rasmus Andersson not being the best skater because of how good of a skater that Quinn Hughes is to make up for it. On the 4th line, we have the Kasperi Kapanen. Definitely going to keep this card. We'll go over him in a second. Robert Thomas, I think you already had him. Maybe you sold him to get the Ehlers or somebody else on your team, and that's why you don't have him anymore. But this guy allows you to activate Magician and keep Speedster. Then we have Nikolai Ehlers. Just came out Team of the Week, so you must have just picked him up, the Gladiator Workhorse. This is a phenomenal card. Super speed at 99 acceleration, 95 speed, great shot. One of those guys that is an absolute stud for a 90 overall. We're going to go over him a little bit more in the Team of the Week video, so I don't want to get too in-depth about him. Mike Smith and Papasakis is going to be your goaltenders. As you can see, Brian Fiddler's head there is still your coach. Let's go over this Kasperi Kapanen, because I talked to you guys about it a little bit, but I don't know if it got portrayed enough in the video that I went over. So even if you take off the balance and have just Distributor and Spark, which I think most people at this point have Distributor and Spark, looking at this card, you get 96 acceleration, 93 agility, 89 balance, 92 endurance, and 95 speed. So his skating's phenomenal. His shot gets up to 91 slap shot and wrist shot power. His wrist shot accuracy isn't the best, in the mid-80s, but the fact that he has a hard shot and he skates so well, he's playing up to an 88.95 if you don't have balance on. Has pretty good above average hands. His defense can check pretty well. Checking's pretty decent. It's the fact that he's so fast at an 86 overall, just because of having that howitzer, workhorse, Distributor, and Spark. It just gives him such great skating attributes. I do think he's a very good card on a budget if you have those 4 synergies. What this build does is there was really no way to add Swarm without completely blowing up the team, giving up a lot of untradables that you've invested a decent amount of coin in, and I did not want to do that. So what we're doing here is we have Gladiator, Howitzer, Speedster, Light the Lamp, Magician, Wingman, and Workhorse. So we added Magician and kept all of the other player synergies, giving you a total of 7 player synergies. And obviously we kept the Balance, Distributor, and Spark. You do have 1 extra point in Distributor. Not really sure how you can get rid of it. It'll probably be a way long term. You'll be able to work in Swarm if you completely swapped out the entire 4th line, plus got a Swarm coach and did some other stuff for Distributor. There's a way, but you have to completely blow up the team. And there's not really guys that fit very well that I would advise you to go and get at this moment. Let me know what you think about your review in the comments down below. You can also message me in private to talk about it a little bit more. Like I said, if you don't like this Lafreniere Andersson combination, maybe we can try to figure out something else if you're really sold on the Renton and Hamilton. Next up, we have Emilio's team. And looking at his team on the first line, we have Alexander Ovechkin, style icon, 94 overall. Then we have the 90 overall fantasy hockey, Sean Couturier. 94 styles icon, Austin Matthews for the first line. First defensive pairs, Lit or Grit, Erik Karlsson. Then Oliver Ekman-Larsson, base card, 83 overall. Second line is going to be Alexander Nylander, Winter National, Christmas gift. Then we have the Mario Lemieux, bronze icon, 89. Base, Connor McDavid, 87. For the second defensive pair, we have a Naka Baragano, fantasy hockey. Then we have Samuel Girard, 86 overall team of the week. The third liners, we have Oliver Bjorkstrands, team of the week, 87. Then we have Steven Stamkos, Halloween Havoc card that has Howitzer. Then we have the 85 overall Lucas Reichel, European Hockey Club. For the third defensive pair, we have Jeff Petrie, Dynamic Duo Volume 2, and Ryan Murray, 94 Flashback. The fourth line has Mika Zibanejad, Winter National, 88 overall. Base, Claude Giroux. Then we have Lit or Grit Matt Duchene. For the goaltenders, we have Darcy Kemper, Team of the Week 83 overall, and we have Samuel Barrios, which has distributor and spark for the backup goaltender, and Brian Fiddler as the coach. What this does for Emilio's team is he has howitzer, speedster, workhorse, as well as distributor. He's looking to activate spark based on this team build, so let's see if we can get him spark activated for a reasonable price. His original team will be on the right. My team review will be on the left. Looking at the first line, we're going to keep it the exact same. Ovechkin, Couturier, Matthews. Great first line. There's no reason to change it. For the first defensive pair, we have Erik Karlsson, Lit or Grit, 86 overall. Then we're going to bring in Giannis Jerome, Moser, European Hockey Club for this OEL. That is the base gold. The Moser with Magician and Spark are actually a very good card. And then distributor activated as well. 89 speed, 90 acceleration, 99 agility. Here's a pretty good shot here that very hard at 95 wrist shot power, 95 slap shot power, even though it's only 85 on the accuracies. Good body checking, 89. Then his defense awareness, 85. Stick checking, 87. I think it's a very good card for more of a budget card here at 86 overall. On his second line, we have Alexander Nylander's Winter National. We're going to upgrade this Mario Lemieux to a silver icon. I think this is a must. You could put him on the first line, but I actually like separating some of the high-end talent here with Matthews and Ovechkin on the first line with Couturier. Keeping Lemieux on the second line here at center. We'll keep the base Connor McDavid, get his Magician activated in this team build as we go through it. Then we're going to pick up Brandon Schneider for Speedster here. Samuel Girard's going to stay here, get rid of this Barragano. The Schneider compared to Barragano is you're going to get 92 speed compared to the same 92 speed, but the acceleration is going to be a little bit higher because you get Spark activated. The wrist shot's going to be harder than Barragano. The slap shot's naturally higher than Barragano. He is a slightly bigger than Barragano by 4 inches, which I think is huge. And then his defense is better, his body checking is better. So it's just, you're getting a better defenseman here, 87 overall on a Schneider compared to this Barragano. For the third line, we're going to get rid of this Bjorkstrand, Stamkos, and then we're going to replace them with Daniel Vixen and Adam Henrique. Lucas Reichel stays there on the right wing. Petrie and Murray are going to stay as your defensemen. Now, I do not think that the Henrique is better than Stamkos is, but it does allow you to activate passing playmaker and spark by having him on the team. So you're going to have some casualties here, and unfortunately, it's Bjorkstrand and Stamkos in the situation. I do think the Bjorkstrand is one of the best budget cards in the game. However, we're going to bring in this Vikstein for him, which we've kind of gone over in a different video a little bit, but he gets 92 speed, 89 acceleration. Very good wrist shot at 94 wrist shot power, 88 wrist shot accuracy. Good body checking, stick checking, defensive awareness is good for a third liner, and he's 6 foot tall, so it's not like he's super tiny. Like I said, Henrique's just worse than the Stamkos, but you do need him for a synergy plug, essentially. Then we have Mika Zibanejad here on the fourth line still with the Matt Duchene. We're going to take out this Claude Giroux, bring in Jean-Gabriel Pageau, which will allow you to activate the Magician and Spark. I've gone over this Pageau enough for you to know that he's one of the best budget guys with Spark that can also play center. We're going to get rid of this Darcy Kemper, bring in Robin Leonard that has 2 Spark. You can bring any goaltender with 2 Spark. I brought in the Leonard because he has very good size and has a 2 Spark. If you want to get the 94 flashback Ben Bishop, who will be expensive, you could also get any of the Winter National guys like the Ben Bounds that has 2 Spark as well for your goaltender. And then we'll keep Barrios here for the distributor and Spark. Fiddler's going to stay your coach. What this does for your team synergy-wise is you have Howitzer, Passing Playmaker, Speedster, Magician, and Workhorse now activated. So we added 2 team synergies in Magician and Passing Playmaker. And you only had Distributor. We got Spark activated in this team build as well. Obviously kept the Distributor. I think this is probably the best way to go with what your current team is that you can do on a budget to kind of not have you spend a lot of coins to get there. I do think there's definitely going to be some coins that need to be spent to get your team to what I seen on the left, especially with the Lemieux. I don't know how many gold cards you have, but I do think Lemieux needs upgraded. It gives you a lot of flexibility by giving you that 2 distributor, 2 howitzer. I do think Henrique and Pageau are pretty decent price. Same with the Vixen. And then Schneider's not too expensive either. Neither is Moser. So we got you some budget guys that allow you to complete that Spark. You did have to give up a few guys, and like the Stamkos, very good card, and Bjorkstrand. But I think it's worth it for your whole team to have that +4 acceleration boost that Spark does give on top of the body checking strength and discipline. I just think it's a huge boost to the entire team to give up 2 cards. Let me know what you think either in private or in the comments down below. Moving on to the last team, it's Kade's team, and he has Alexander Ovechkin 92 style icon. It looks like he's building towards that 95 overall. Then we have 94 style icon Austin Matthews, which he took from doing the objectives. Johnny Gaudreau is going to be the team of the week 89 overall for the first right wing. His first defensive pair is a fantasy hockey Cale Makar, which is 89 overall. Then Brian Marchment, that was also a free card, I believe, from Challenges, 85 overall. Second line is going to be Claude Giroux, primetime 92. Then Nico Hischier, team of the week 89. Paul Bissonnette, 91 overall from the Spit and Chicklets podcast. I think he has like 6 or 7 career goals. They made this card way better than he was in real life, which I'm okay with. Pretty cool dude if you ever watch their podcast with him and Ryan Whitney. Then we have team of the week 87 overall, Braden Schneider. Primetime Keith Yandel, 87. I think this is one of the best defensemen for the price you're going to pay. Then we have 91 Mark Stone, fantasy hockey. Quentin Byfield's NHL 2030, 89 overall. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 94 flashback. Then we have Maximilian Glotzel, 84, that has the 2 speedster on defense. Shane Gostisbehere, 88 primetime. Justin Williams, 90, and 87 Sean Couturier fantasy hockey, as well as Jean Beliveau rounds out that 4th line. Cal Peterson, primetime, is his goaltender that has distributor and swarm. Then we have Arvid Holm has distributor and spark as the backup goaltender. We have Brian Fiddler as the coach. Looking at his team, that gives him howitzer, speedster, and wingman activated with distributor and spark as his team synergies. He has a relatively good team. Maybe we can activate a third team synergy. I think we're probably going to have to go the route of player synergies looking at his team, though, because we'd really have to blow it up to add 7 swarm or 10 balance to this roster. His original team will be on the right. My team advice will be on the left. Obviously, you know what I had to do first. We're upgrading this Ovi to the 95 overall style icon version of Ovi. Even though the 92 is a great card, we're just going to upgrade him to the 95 overall because it allows you to get 2 distributor. Austin Matthews stays at center in the first line. We're bringing up Nico Hischier and bumping up to the first line right center. Cale Makar and Marchment are going to stay your first defensive pair. On the second line, we're going to go pick up this Nathan McKinnon, Winter National, 91 overall. I think he's very good price right now. We're going to move this Claude Giroux over to center. And the reason we're doing this, looking at his attributes, it's almost a crime not to have Giroux playing center where you got him playing left wing, especially compared to this Hischier. The Hischier only has 79 faceoffs. Claude Giroux has 95 faceoffs. There's no reason you shouldn't have him as one of your centers. That's too good of faceoffs to be turning down. On top of this, Claude Giroux is an amazing card. Paul Bissonnette is going to stay as your right wing. Now, I told you this guy has like 7 goals in his career. He plays at the 92.1 on how this team is built. He has 90 speed, 88 acceleration, 94 agility. They gave him a super hard shot at 99 max when you have the howitzers. Great body checker, great defensively. It'll actually work really well, I think, with this Claude Giroux and Nathan McKinnon. I just thought it was pretty cool. They gave him a really good card for a guy that was really a grinder 4th liner his entire career. We're going to bring in this Jeff Petrie. Now, there are other options that have howitzer and shutdown. Like, there's a Shea Weber out there, I believe. There might be a Dougie Hamilton as well. There might not be a Dougie Hamilton. But there's definitely other cards beside this Petrie that have the same combination. You can put any one of them in here. I chose Petrie because I think he is the best option out of all of them for the price you're going to have to pay. Keith Yandel, we're going to keep him over here with the primetime card. We got rid of this Snyder just for synergies. We need more than one speedster out of this defensive spot, especially since we're getting rid of the Glotzel, as you'll see here in a second. On the third line, we have Mark Stone, 91, fantasy hockey. Keep him the exact same. Here you see Sean Couturier. He gets bumped up from the 87. You have him on the 4th line all the way to 90 overall. As you can see, he's 87 here. Bump him with the 90 overall to get that second spark. You don't have to do this because, as you notice in this build, you see 11 out of 10. So you can really keep the Couturier where he's at. But I got him bumped up to 90 overall. It's going to have to be him or Beliveau, though, for this build. I recommend bumping both of them up, but I can see where the Sean Couturier right here will be more than fine at 87, and even keep him on the 4th line and putting Beliveau up here on the 3rd line if you want. Looking at the 3rd defensive pair here, we're going to bring in this Themo Nickel that gives you the shutdown and speedster, as well as Ryan McDonough also has shutdown and speedster. Both of these cards, I think, are upgrades from the Gostisbehere and Glotzel, so that's something you want to look into. On the 4th line, we're getting rid of Justin Williams. The Belivau's going to get the upgrade to silver icon, as you see. We're selling Quentin Byfield in this build as well, because I don't think he's necessary for what you're building. And honestly, as a centerman, unless you're going to play him on the wing, the 86 faceoffs really isn't great at this point in time in the game, especially for a guy that you want to have somebody that is very hard on the puck, especially on your 3rd line. Also, by upgrading this Beliveau to Silver Icon and bringing in Thomas Tatar, you can get Thief activated, which means that this Silver Icon Beliveau gets up to 91 face-offs. The rest of his attributes you already know are going to be amazing. We did an in-depth true review on this card that you can check out on the page if you want. Bringing this Oliver Bjorkstrand, as I said before on the previous team, he's one of the best budget guys. He plays well above his attributes at 89.36 compared to 87. With his synergies activated, 96 speed, 93 acceleration, very hard wrist shot at 94, 87 wrist shot accuracy, and has decent checking and defensive categories and phenomenal hands, except for the offensive awareness and hand-eyes only in the high 80s. The rest are in the 90s. I think this is the way to go for that fourth line, even though you have to get rid of the Justin Williams and the Quentin Byfield. You might actually be able to replace them with Tatar, Bjorkstrand, pick up this Madonna and nickel for the price that Byfield and Justin Williams is, and you might even be able to really work on this Nathan McKinnon, depending on what type of coin stack you already have. The goaltending can stay Cal Peterson and Arvid Holm. I think that's more than fine combination. Brian Fiddler's still going to be your coach. What this does is we went and just activated a plethora of player synergies for you. We got Howitzer, Speedster, Magician, Thief, Wingman, and Shutdown. So what we added 3 player synergies here. We kept the Spark and Distributor. I think we also solidified your team. We got Heischer out of playing that second center, which I don't think he should. Increase the speed. Oh, Johnny Gaudreau's another card that we sold off here, which should help with some of the improvements. I don't think you need to upgrade Cale Makar right now because you don't really need the synergies. You just need the shutdown. Him and Marchment together is actually a pretty nice pair because Cale Makar is such a great skater. Let me know what you think about the upgrades we did to your team here. You can let me know in the comments or in private. I do think this is the way to go. And I think if you have 125,000 coins in the 3 gold collectibles, you'll actually be able to make these upgrades by swapping out the players I mentioned and bringing in what you need, as well as you should be able to upgrade at least the Sean Couturier and keep the Beliveau right now at the 88 overall that he is. That's going to wrap up the team reviews of Ian Connor, 33, Emilio, and Kade. Hopefully the team advice helped these guys out short-term and long-term. As you've seen, we really had to go with a lot of player synergies because some of these guys had cards that were locked in and untradeable that made it kind of hard to work around and add an extra team synergy. Normally we go for the extra team synergy, but if you can just make a lot of player synergies with some well-priced cards, sometimes that's the way to go compared to going out of your way to get like Swarm or Balance added to the Distributor and Spark already. For anyone watching this video that wasn't one of the 3 guys that their team reviewed, let me know if there was any spots in their lineups where you thought maybe you could put a different player than what I put. That would have been a better suggestion. We're here to have a community to help each other out. And I think it's important if you see something on a team to help that person out. That way you can help improve their team, because I'm not always perfect. I don't always make the best suggestions. I think my suggestions are pretty good, but there's sometimes a better option that maybe I just didn't think about. If you want to have your team reviewed by me, it's 3 easy steps. First, you're going to have to subscribe to the channel. 2, you're going to have to join the Discord. 3, you need to put your team URL from NHL Hut Builder into the proper channel that is labeled subscriber team URL channel. Put your team in there. I'll add you to the queue. It's first come, first serve. So as long as you put your team in there and say you want a team review, I will definitely put you on the queue. The queue can get a little bit long from time to time, so just be patient. As always, I appreciate all of your guys' support. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video with any of your friends that play NHL 21. You guys have a great day and be safe.